Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to the Saturday show. As I said, this is probably one of the busiest weeks we have, one of the promoted weekends we have in both in some of the fixtures today, and also we'll talk about last night's game in the Premier League between Aston Villa and Spurs and Chelsea against Manchester United as well. We will discuss about the EFL Play-offs semi-finals in the Championship and Leagues One, and also we'll remain in League Two as well, and we also will discuss pretty much the top five battle who was going to finish in the last few spots of the Champions League places as well. So, like I said, today there's no Premier League games at all. Because of today, because it's actually the biggest day. The big day is the FA Cup final between Man City will play against Crystal Palace as well, alongside in the Scottish Premiership, Ole Celtic against St Mary, which is the last game up in Scotland this week for the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen go away to Dundee United and Hibs at home against Rangers, but all at 12:30 kick-off later today. And League Two promotion playoff semi-finals. The second leg, AC Milan will take a 1-0 advantage lead against Notts County, and the Scottish Championship player final, a Juniors against Cove Rangers, and in League Two, Bonnyrigg Rose against East Kilbride as well. So yeah, really huge games as well in the Bundesliga. It's the last couple of games in the Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen under Xavi Alonso. This will be his last game as the manager before he confirms he will be the next Real Madrid manager. They're away to Mainz. Borussia Dortmund are home to Holstein Kiel. Borussia Mönchengladbach against Wolfsburg. Hoffenheim are home to the champions Bayern Munich, and Leipzig against Stuttgart as well. And one game in Serie A, Genoa against Atalanta in the Serie 45 kickoff as well. And going into tomorrow's games, 5 games in the Premier League as well. The last ever home game at Goodison Park for Everton Football Club, they're home against Southampton. Nottingham Forest, they need to know they have to win to keep themselves into the Champions League position. They're away at West Ham. Brentford at home to Fulham, which is another London derby. It could be one of these teams that can need a way to try to stay in touch of the European competitions as well. Leicester City against Ipswich Town. This is Jamie Vardy's last ever game for Leicester. His 500 game, and if he scores, it will be his 200 as well. And we'll discuss more about that. About the bizarre statement saying that he's only going to be playing this tomorrow game and not playing the last game against Bournemouth next weekend. And in the 4:30 kickoff, it is Arsenal against Newcastle United. A big game for both these teams to confirm their Champions League spots, mainly for Newcastle to get this win to try to put them into second place. The Women's FA Cup final between Chelsea against Man United. Chelsea can do the treble after a good unbeaten season as well as in the bottom six. We know that Derek McInnes is confirmed he will not be in the dugout for Kilmarnock tomorrow. Because as I say, he will go against his future employees, Rangers, tomorrow. Ross County at home to Motherwell, and St Johnson, who will already be relegated. They play the last game in the Scottish Premiership against Dundee as well. Also, a couple of games in the Scottish Women's Premier League. The big game is the two teams, Rangers against Hibernian. This will decide who will win the title, the championship in the Scottish Women's Premier League as well. And then the relegation group, Sparta's home against Park Thistle as well too. And then on Monday night we got Brighton against Liverpool, which is one of the last Monday night football of the season. And Tuesday, we've got 2 games in the Premier League between Crystal Palace against Wolves and Man City at home to Bournemouth as well. So, yeah, we've got some interesting games as well. And then on Wednesday night, it is the Europa League final between Spurs and Manchester United. And like I said, we're only one more away from 90 subscribers completely. So we want to get to 100 by the end of the season, but we're not far from being from up to 90 subscribers. So please like and hit that button as well. So further all, we've got some guests on today, and especially one of them had one of the probably the best championship semi-final ever to finish in the best ways possible. Let's say good morning to Michael. Michael, good morning to you.
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on again. How are you doing?
I'm good, other than having a bit of a stuffy nose, but
Uh,
someone must be very happy after 120 minutes of craziness and everything was going
yeah, I think
to
I've just used up so much energy celebrating Dan Ballard's goal that I think I've developed a cold at the back end of the week, so that's why I sound a bit stuffy. But No, you I'm sure we'll talk about that later after all the Prem stuff. I'm sure, but like, yeah, it was it was one of the best moments I think I've ever experienced, and I think it says a lot that a lot of neutrals were talking about how the limbs at the Stadium of Light was just something I'll never ever forget. Because if that had gone to penalties, I'm not convinced we would be in the playoff final. So, yeah, big Dan Ballard, absolutely love the guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll discuss more in the game as well too. And joining as well ahead of the because of the match of the Europa League final, we got him on it today. We should have another Man United fan joining us. Mike, we should join us as well. But it's good morning to Reece back on again. Morning, Reece.
Morning, gentlemen. How are we?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Not too bad.
How you been after last night? Surprise?
I'm all right. To be honest, last night I didn't really care. I didn't even watch the game, so I'm all right with that. I already knew that we weren't going to win. I already knew we weren't going to get a result, so my mind's on Wednesday. So I don't really care personally. Like it's Chelsea have got the Champions League to fight for. We've got a trophy to fight for. So yeah, my mind is totally elsewhere. So yeah,
Yeah, no, fair enough. That right. Do you know what? It's a big day today, and it's the FA Cup final between Crystal Palace and Man City. This is gonna be interesting as well. Crystal Palace, we thought after the start of the season had under Oliver Glasner, who thought he was gonna be one of the first catches to be sacked, and what a run they've been on. You know, these eyeing the first trophy with the club, with Man City already back in another third consecutive final in 3 years as well. I have to say, guys, what's your take on this game, especially especially with what's happened with the two T seasons so far, especially with Man City, Michael. They've really had a regression after they won the fourth Premier League title in a row.
I mean, at some point, City were always going to go through a season where they didn't win the league. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the table now. So I mean, you know, Champions League qualification is still in their hands. But yeah, I think they would have expected by now to have been well secured in the top five now. Because obviously Villa and Chelsea winning last night didn't do them any favors. But I think for this season, I think did Pep Guardiola say something like that? They need to win need to win the FA Cup and finish in the Champions League for it to look respectable
Yeah,
this season. So if they finish in say the top three, top four, top five, and win the FA Cup, then you know it's not going to look like a bad season by comparison. It's just for the standards that City have set over the last few years that it doesn't look particularly as good. Having said that, I do think they will beat Palace today. I do think they will have I think they will end up having too much. But I will say that Palace obviously are no mugs. They've obviously got themselves to the final for a reason. So yeah, it's not a straw, not a home run for City by any means. But I do fancy them to win today.
yeah, well, absolutely. We'll see. As I said, Reese, Palace were in a difficult situation. They did not win a league match until 27th of October, which was their ninth game of the season. They had players that were out injured due to the Euros participation last summer as well. But what a turnaround has been for Glasner to come in, to keep his job as well and get and build that momentum, and they got that momentum on their side as well. The way they beat, you know, Fulham away from that was amazing. Eze scoring two goals. Mateta has been on good form as well. And I had to just looking at here, with the record for Palace, with the most 20 plus Premier League games. Glasner has the best record of points per game on 1.49. That is quite a good amazing, and this is since up to started this in 2003. That's quite amazing. He's only had 49 games as a Crystal Palace manager, and somehow Roy Hodgson, who's got the most 182s on 1.22 points per game.
honestly, it is remarkable for Olivier Glasner. I think he's a very good manager. I think Palace fans who want him sacked were, in my opinion, quote unquote, insane. I mean, I understand obviously if you're in poor form, the best response is, all right, then let's just sack the manager. But it's not always the best response. I mean, look at Bournemouth. Like, obviously, Carl, you watch the World of Football podcast now and then. You saw how crazy we all defended um, Iraola, even though he's not our manager. We defended him like crazy from Bournemouth
Yeah,
fans because we saw it early on. We're like, no, we watched this guy in Spain Like this guy is really good. So we're like, no. And then coincidentally, they got he turned it around in the game, funnily enough, against Man United, um, which is really annoying. But Areola got the result against Man United. I think they beat us 1-0. I think it was a 1-0 win or something like that. And he's been cooking ever since. And since that first season when Bournemouth fans were like, no, get rid of him. And I'm like, he's are not saying that now, are you? So Glasner's the same thing. Like, end of the day, these clubs, I understand they want to go manager to manager because it's what they know. And I'm not knocking them in any way, shape, or form like that, but it doesn't always work, especially if you've got a manager who will actually get the right type of football out of your players. Glasner's got a very specific style that benefits the Palace players because the Palace players mostly are runners or direct players. Glasner's style is built on direct play and relies on heavy endurance, stamina. But if you look at it, Palace are one of the fittest teams in the league. They're one of the most direct teams in the league. And despite their league position, they're one of the most exciting teams to watch. And I love Glasner. I've always liked watching Glasner play football anyway. But they've landed really well. I mean, this is a guy who could have went like he could have went to Bayern Munich ahead of Vincent Company. Like he was actually offered a job and he said, "No, I want to stay. I want to stay and build this team I've got at Palace." And subsequently, he then lost his best player, Michael Elise, who I think is a better player than Eze. I think Eberici Eze is an incredible player. No, don't get me wrong, but I think Michael Elise was the one that made it tick. And then subsequently, he's proven that when he's went to Bayern, he's got the best. It just shows he's got one of the best goals per game and assist ratios in Europe this season, the top 5 leagues. I think he's actually number 1 or number 2 for minutes played. He's got the best ratio, which includes Rafinha, which includes Yamal, which includes um, an absolute favourite player of mine who, if City get him this summer, I'll be annoyed. Tioan Rinders. And I think number five is still Victor Gyökeres, but obviously Victor Gyökeres is number 1 for goals. But all round ratio, at least he's number 1. But since then, Eze has struggled. And then it took him a while to figure out what to do because he never had Elise to help do the work with him. And eventually they sorted that out. And now Eze is in incredible form. I don't understand the whole um, wax lyrical and getting all excited for Adam Wharton because I see a lot of fans want him in their team. And I think he's a good player, but I'm like, he doesn't win you a league title unless he goes into a team that's already going to challenge. Like, I don't see it. But I think he's got quality and he's certainly stepped up. I think they've got their positioning correct. I think they've got the system correct. And most importantly, they've backed the manager and he's now got them in a final. Now, this is Crystal Palace's third ever FA Cup final. And we already know their record in cup finals. They've lost 2, and that was against the same football club. It would be quite embarrassing if they go 3-0 and it's against the other side of Manchester.
Mm.
Because it's certainly a possibility. I don't know who's going to. I think obviously the favourite is absolutely Manchester City. They are the favourites because they're in incredible form right now. They can still finish second in the league, which is well considering how far Arsenal were. But when you're looking at the cup final, form doesn't matter. The day matters. The occasion matters. Palace haven't beat at Wembley in quite a number of years. Will they succeed in terms of the final this time? Who knows? But if they do, credit to them because they've earned it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a fair point. Fair points you've made and complete as well. You know, as I said, they've lost the last 2 previous FA Cup finals, and both to Manchester clubs, complete Manchester United. And like I said, this, Michael, they don't have nothing to lose, but City does, Michael.
Well, yeah, it's the mindset of the two different. Well, not the mindset. That's the wrong word because Palace, of course, will want to come into today's game to try and win it. But with Palace, if they do lose the game, then it's yeah, who's expecting them to beat Manchester City? That doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it because City by City standards this season haven't been as good, and therefore it opens the door for teams to beat them. Whereas with Man City, they do have something to lose because imagine if City lose today's game and then particularly if they don't finish in the Champions League places, that would be considered a very poor season for City to not win anything and not even finish in the Champions League. As I said earlier, I still would back City to win the game, but you're right. I think that Palace don't have anything to lose from today's game, and it's a classic cliche. They have nothing to lose, everything to gain. Whereas
Absolutely.
City don't have much to gain. Well, obviously apart from an FA Cup trophy, that's a big thing. But they don't have as much by comparison to Palace to gain, but quite a lot to lose in that sense.
Yeah. No.
They still have the Champions League. Like next season, they've still got Champions League guaranteed.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I completely agree with Michael. I fundamentally agree with that circumstance. And I know I didn't say it earlier on, but that's just because I don't really watch the Championship a lot. But congratulations on the semi-final. I don't watch a lot of the Championship. It's nothing against the league. It's just I watch so many other leagues. I just don't get a chance. But when I do watch the odd game in the Championship, I do like it. And you've got two players in the league. I'm pretty sure both players play for you in the league that I really do like watching. That's Joe Bellingham and Chris Rigg. Is he a Sunderland fan or Sunderland player? Is he?
Yeah, they're both Sunderland players. They're both
I've watched. Yeah, I've watched him now in a game, but I really like Joe Bellingham. I actually think he's going to end up being better than Jude. And
Yeah.
he's
I
also
was going
said
to say that's a statement, isn't it?
he's also said this himself. Jude Bellingham also said this in an interview that he genuinely thinks that Joe will be a better footballer than him. But ever since I've watched them both, and I really like them both, you can see something really different in Joe Bellingham. Like Jude Bellingham's got that instinct to go forward, and he loves that instinct to attack, and he's molded himself. I think Joe Bellingham's actually a more complete player already. He just needs to develop. And that doesn't automatically mean he has to go to he has to repeat the cycle. He has to go to Dortmund and Real Madrid or same for sake. He can come here. Like the elements that he can develop into such a complete player, it's right there. Like I really think he's that good, truly special. I think there's something about him, like especially if you're that deluded like Birmingham City to retire his kit number. You know what I mean? Like I still don't understand that.
Well, to be honest, with Joe Bellingham in particular, I feel like we have to win next week. I think for us to keep hold of him. I think
I agree.
if we don't go up, then I think it's going to be incredibly difficult to keep him for another championship season. And I don't begrudge him as long as he leaves in the right way, which I'm sure he would. Then I don't begrudge him that
Yeah.
because he deserves to play in a better league than the championship. But it's also
Aye.
and it's the same, and it's similar with Chris Rigg, to be honest. Like I think to a lesser extent, but obviously Chris Rigg's only had one season of senior football really, whereas Job's already had 2 seasons with Sunderland. And it is quite amusing because you mentioned Birmingham being deluded, but I felt like the reaction from some of their fans when we signed Job was quite arrogant, in my opinion, when they were saying Sunderland's not a step up from Birmingham. It bloody is. Like I don't know how anyone. I don't personally for me.
I don't know how. I don't know how they can't say it's not a step up because you're still the bigger club than Newcastle.
If only that were the case, Reece. I love you. I love you. Thank you for saying that.
No, honestly, ask Carl. Ask Carl. I've been saying this for. Ask Doug if he pops up in the chat. I've been saying it for a long time. Sunderland are still a bigger club than Newcastle. I stand on that. I don't care what anyone says. I stand on those laurels.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, do you know
my respect for Reece has just shot up immensely. So thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. I back that up as well.
Even ask him. Even ask Mike. I've said it so many times when he's appeared in chats.
Say what have you said? Sorry, I totally missed what was going on.
I still stand on my laurels that Sunderland are a bigger club than Newcastle.
Yeah, and I've disagreed with you multiple times. Jay has said that. Sorry. Oh shit. sorry, Michael. I just clicked on who's on the stream.
To be honest, Mike, I do think Newcastle are bigger than us, but I don't think it's a big gap as people think it is.
Bigger money. That's all for me.
It's not a huge gap, but I do think there is a gap.
Yeah, that's what there is going to be with the money that they've got, though, isn't there? I think ultimately ultimately for a club of our size to have not been in the Premier League for 8 years is very, very atrocious, to be totally honest. And the unfortunate thing is we wasted 4 of those seasons in League One. So,
True.
which is a league which I stand by, is a league, and I don't care if it sounds arrogant, for me that's a league we should never have been anywhere near. But,
No, absolutely.
we deserve to be there, but there's a difference between deserving to be there and
And
belonging
not
there.
deserving to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. We absolutely deserve to be in League One because we were ran atrociously. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that that's where we belong as a club. The problem is, and obviously I'm desperate to win next Saturday against Sheffield United. Well, we'll deal with that when we come to it. But at the same time, if we go up, I'm well aware that we're going to have a lot of we're going to have a really, really crucially big summer window. So, but to answer Niall's question, yes, I hope we can do it. But yeah. For the moment, as Carl knows, and Carl knows in the group chat, I've been in the Championship panel one. In fact, I think everybody was astonished when that goal went in against Coventry. I think a lot, and I'm still coming down from that. Maybe I celebrated the goal so much that it's given me my cold. I don't know.
I watched that game. I watched that game just to see how it was getting on.
Yeah.
I've watched quite a few of the playoff games. I watched the Leighton Orient game as well because my friend likes Leighton Orient. So they're a Spurs fan, but they've got some sort of link to Leighton Orient. I don't know if it's because they've had a player there or something. I don't know, but that was an incredible game as well. The playoff games have been really good.
Yeah.
And I put in the chat why I want you to get promoted. I'm sick of the stripper clubs getting promoted. I'm sick of it.
Stripper clubs.
I can't stand them. I cannot stand the stripper clubs. I can't stand Sheffield United. I can't stand Norwich. Thank God they're not getting promoted. I can't stand Burnley. I'm sorry, but they're becoming a stripper club as well, despite their record defence. I can't stand West Brom. Anybody who keeps getting up and down like a yo-yo, to me, are a stripper club. So,
Well, we'll see. Fingers crossed we do it next week.
please beat them 5-0 or something like that. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm
You gave
begging
me for my heart rate, I would prefer we did that instead of leaving it till the end, literally both games again. We literally had an 89th minute winner against Coventry in the first leg, and then a 122nd minute aggregate winner in the second. So my heart rate is actually going all over the place. My heart rate after both games was literally on 100 miles an hour about an hour after the games had finished.
I bet Coventry fans are now all over social media begging Sheffield United to beat you because they're forcing another rivalry.
And they don't like us. Mind you,
the thing is, though, they was
sorry, mate. Go on.
The Coventry player who went down before the added time got added on. If he would have just walked off the pitch rather than staying on the pitch and wasting time, that 2 minutes wouldn't have been good. Yeah.
Which says something because I absolutely detest time wasting. I really do, and I understand why players do it. I completely get why players do it. If you're going to get away with it, you should. But I hate the fact that referees don't have any bollocks and actually just let them get away with it. It absolutely winds me up. So I'm not gonna lie, that did feel quite satisfying when
this is controversial because obviously Carl knows obviously part Italian, part German, so. It's controversial, obviously, that one of my favourite players of all time is Jurgen Klinsmann. And it's awkward for him because he invented it without actually meaning to invent it. And obviously, it became worse. It became worse since Klinsmann. So, in the same tournament, people have a go about Jurgen Klinsmann diving, but I'm sorry, but Gary Lineker done it to Cameroon in the semi-final. So, sorry, quarter-final.
Yeah.
So, can we actually put some respect on Klinsmann's name?
Hey, do not get me wrong. As I've said, I have no problem. Well, I do have a problem with players doing it, but I don't have a problem with them taking advantage of it because they can get away with it. Why wouldn't you do it? But
Jack Grealish has made an art of it.
Well, exactly. So,
for English players in the
at the end of the day, it's up to the referees to stamp it out.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate diving. I've said it so many times. Like, if you dive once, it should be a 10-game ban straight away. No hesitation. Just straight 10 games. You're gone. Because you'll never do it again. Because you'll realise, oh shit, I missed my football.
It would get rid of it. As stupid as the rule is, it would get rid of it.
Well, yeah, if you punish people for it, then that's how. Guess what? That's how they're going to stop doing it. So, but there's nothing.
Exactly.
Sorry, Carl, go on.
It's a fair point. Yeah, it would stop the players from diving, especially the 10-game ban would make a difference. Like they know that we can't do this again. They know that.
Yeah. The problem is going to be that you're going to open a big can of worms, though, aren't you? Because then a lot of people will contest what the referee views as diving, or views as simulation, or views as cheating.
Yeah.
One way or another. That I agree with you. That I wouldn't be against that sort of thing, but that's the kind of worms that unfortunately it's inevitably going to open. There's always going to be some sort of consequence to it.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be that middle ground. Like, oh, what do you class? Do you class this as a dive? Well, one referee will class the same incident as a dive, the other will get. It's gonna. That's why it'll never happen. Same as goal kicks. It's meant to be, or no, when you have the ball, it's meant to be a 6-second rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no one.
That's a load of nonsense because they never get punished for it now.
But
that's changing. That's changed. That's changing though. That rule's changing from next season.
Is it the rule where if you hold on to the ball for too long, then the opposition team get a corner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so.
I would change. I think that's a bit of a. I think that I would have changed that a little bit differently. What I would have done is, if you're doing it that way, I would have done the same as a pass back. You get an indirect free kick. I would have given an indirect free kick in the box to the opposition, because then you're really you're chopping it like your fear. I'd be like, aye, straight away, like, here you go, David Raya holding the ball for 12 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say that's David Raya, fuck.
Aye. That's I cannot wait. I cannot wait to slander Arsenal soon. Sorry, critique. I meant critique.
Reece, it's not critique, man. It's slander. Fuck them.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm being. In case an Arsenal fan listens, I want to make sure that they have no one on their side.
They got all the Meg online. They got all the Meg online, and they can never back it up.
I don't know what you guys are thinking. Obviously, Liverpool, absolutely for us, is our biggest rivals. Then Leeds. Carl, you know the score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man United, Leeds.
I bloody hated Arsenal. I bloody hated Arsenal growing up, just because that rivalry was so damn wild in the Premier League. But I honestly,
most Arsenal fans see us more of a rival than Spurs, because Spurs win fucking nothing.
Yeah, but honest to God, seeing recent seasons, I have not hated anybody more than Arsenal. That includes Liverpool. I honestly in terms of Liverpool have got some arrogance to them. They've got Liverpool fans have got some arrogance to them about their football, but Arsenal fans have got some sort of deluded force into their argument that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
No. Hey, you're talking about Arsenal. It literally sounds like Newcastle United.
Aye, I don't understand it, and I sent a video to a group chat that me and Doug ran the other day. I don't know if Doug's watched it, but Jesus Christ, I lost my mind. Carlo Ancelotti is one of my all-time favorite managers. Oh, in the video response is that weirdo Ty for AFTV, that bloody weirdo, and he the guy who's opposite. He's clearly a Real Madrid fan, because it's before the semi-final. Quarter-final that Arsenal annoyingly knocked out Real Madrid. And the guy's like, Ancelotti's won 5 Champions Leagues. He's won Serie A. He's won the Premier League. He's won Liga, and he's won Serie A, and he's won the Bundesliga. And that weirdo Ty went, but what's he won in Japan? And I'm like,
what the fuck's that got to do with that?
Exactly. I'm like, God respect. I love Japan. I love the Japanese culture. I actually want to immigrate to Japan one point in my life. But I burst out laughing. I'm like, you cannot compare Japanese football to any of the top 5 European leagues, because end of the day, Japanese football is incredible, but it doesn't compare to the top 5 leagues in Europe. You would get absolutely ruined. And he's like, oh, but what did Arsene Wenger achieve? And then he said this about. He got asked if Real Madrid are a bigger club than Arsenal, and he went, no, because what did they win in 1902?
Oh my God.
How can you take these fans seriously? And they're and Arsenal fans are weird when they're forcing themselves in every conversation. Who's the best right winger in the league? Oh, Bukayo Saka. Sorry, the best right winger in all-time Premier League 11. Oh, Bukayo Saka. If you're going to force a right winger in the conversation, why did you not say Robert Pires? You absolute deluded gonk.
Yeah.
It was a woman. It was a woman, but she clearly watches football. She clearly doesn't understand football. But before anyone says I'm having a go at women, no, I'm having a go at this one particular woman who clearly doesn't watch football. Because the Arsenal fan sitting beside her, who's also a woman, was sitting there going, Saka's not there yet. And I'm going, how can your fan base be that stupid?
Do you know what? I met some Arsenal fans genuine, not the online ones, but the more you are not social media. They're probably the nicest people. But But when it's the online ones, I don't get them. I really don't get it.
They scare me. They scare me.
Yeah, absolutely does. It absolutely does. Doug, good morning.
Morning, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Absolutely.
You're on daddy duty today.
I am, yeah. So I'm not sure how long I'll be with you guys, because obviously I've got a running toddler in in the flat. So, no, I just wanted to say that very happy with Livingston last night. They've got the
Absolutely.
momentum going into the playoff final now. Whether it's Ross County or Dundee, I would be probably confident over either of them, to be honest.
Sorry about that. I'm back now.
No, it's all right, mate. No
No, it's
problem
okay.
at all.
Doug, question for you. I was actually tempted to go to the game last night, but as you know, I was streaming on the side. Did you see David Martindale's interview after the game?
Yeah, almost sounds like he had lost his voice. Which
Honestly, if you guys get a chance, respectfully, if you get a minute when you turn to speaking, like even you, Carl, just mute yourself and go and listen to David Martindale on Sports Scene last night. He sounds like a Dalek.
yeah, he does. He does. It's very
He's a
funny,
lovely
but
guy. He's a good guy.
but no,
as
I
well.
think look, I think the one thing I'll say is obviously it was disappointing to not get promoted automatically. It would have been fantastic to have done that, but to get revenge over Partick, especially with them beating us at Almondvale on the last day of the season, really, it was nice to sort of get revenge and to beat them 4-0 over 2 legs is very amazing. So fingers crossed we do it, but you know, even if we don't do it, then it's still been a fabulous season. And I think people were written off Livingston last season. I think a lot of people kind of looked at us and thought, right, they've not got the squad. They're probably going to struggle for maybe 5th, 6th, or 7th place. I think we've shut a lot of teams up, a lot of people up, especially pundits as well, who clearly don't like us. Let's just say that. But no, like if we get up, we get up. But it's been a very good season, and obviously a cup win to add to it as well. And obviously now we've got new chairman and new potential investor as well. So I honestly think this club is on the up, and hopefully it is, because the years of turmoil, the years of turbulence, and amongst boardroom sagas, etc. I think we're on the way up, and hopefully we are.
Yeah, absolutely as well, and that's amazing, Doug. And for you, especially what Liverpool went through last season, and there was
Yeah.
questions, like you said, there was questions about can this team get can this team compete, and they have competed, so which is good, and they got all the way to the last day of the season to try to get promoted and do it. But I think you've gone the way you needed to go against Pat Thistle, the right way as possible, and I think you can beat either Ross County or Dundee. I think those two teams have been the weakness that their season, and I think they just don't have the depth of it to against you guys at the moment.
I think it's County. I think it'll be County.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's County as well. To be honest, with all of you, I think County are in free fall.
Yeah.
I said a couple of weeks ago when they were like sort of 11th place and sort of when they lost to St Johnstone, I said it then. I think they're in free fall, and look what's obviously happened. Losing to St Johnstone. Obviously, St Johnstone have gone down, which I think is a real shame, because I think it's a real shame. But again, I think it goes to kind of show that that the recruitment hasn't been great there. I would also say as well that I think sacking Callum Davidson was never the answer.
No.
I will never understand why they sacked him, and obviously they had Stephen McLean, that didn't work, and obviously they got Simo Valakari, and that's obviously not worked as well. So. No, like I think if it is Ross County, then we've got a pretty good record against them. We beat them in the cup early in the season, 3-2. I remember that was a 118th minute winner. So I don't know how Michael was feeling the other night when they had a 121st minute winner. So there's nothing like a late winner. So. Obviously the first game will obviously be at home against the Premiership team. But we have proven in the past we can win in Dingwall. So and we have proven in the past we can win at Dens Park as well. So no, look, whoever it is, it's going to be a very, very good playoff final. The only thing is, I'll be coming home from Liverpool on the second leg, so I hope that the train that has decent Wi-Fi and can actually watch it.
Well, we hope. We hope. So yeah, we hope about that one completely. So yeah. But like I said, only thing is, Doug, and since you got on here, I know you had your say on the group chat. This is good. We just got confirmation just moments ago from Heights that Liam Fox will be leaving. Will be leaving the club, and that means that Derek McInnes will
Right.
come in after the game, later on tomorrow with Kilmarnock play against Hearts. I know you did not like the
Yeah.
way how Derek McInnes went the way both McInnes and Hearts went this way publicly, but do you think it's
Yeah.
a good appointment overall?
That's an excellent appointment. I think it kind of shows that Derek McInnes is a manager who I think has been very, very harshly treated. Obviously when he got sacked at Aberdeen, to be fair, he did a very good job at Aberdeen, and I think he's done a very good job at Kilmarnock. So I think he'll be a good manager for Hearts. Yeah, look, I've obviously had my say. I didn't like the way that it's been done. I think it's another thing to say that you could have waited until the very end of the season. But look, obviously it would have been very, very awkward to play against his obviously parent club that he's obviously going to manage, and then obviously leave his other club. But look, I think the safest thing to say is obviously Hearts I think are going to finish best of the rest. They should never have been in that position to begin
Agree.
with. It should never be bottom 10. Um,
Yep.
so I think you've got to say that. Look, I think it's a very good appointment for Hearts' sake. Um, it's really, really bad for Kilmarnock, but they've had good managers in the past, and they will survive as well. So
Yeah.
no, I think whoever goes in there, I think I think they've got a very, very good squad. I think there needs to be a few wee decisions really. Whether Craig Gordon decides to obviously carry on. I think he said he wants to carry on until maybe the World Cup. That's
I,
obviously to get
I would
there.
love to see that, but I have a feeling that he might retire. I really have a feeling. I
Mm,
think there needs to be a decision with the goalkeeping situation going forward with that one, Doug. And I think Shanklin will probably likely to stay because I think there's no chance he'll get to go to a Kings club. I really don't
That
see that at the moment.
yeah. This is There's two things about this Hearts appointment for McInnes that really bugs me. In the nicest way. This is a respect thing. To be fair, one, it's so clever by Hearts, but it just shows. Even though Rangers are now going to get the investment, it shows how
We were
stupid
linked with him
Rangers
twice
still
in that
are.
date when we were finding before we got Critchley.
Yeah,
He was twice mentioned, and
I know
somehow the board didn't do it. They went with the cheap option, getting Critchley because he was free. So
exactly. Like it bugs me in a way that Hearts have absolutely got a great manager in here, and when I know Aberdeen, to be fair, this season have done really well. I still said after McInnes got sacked that they were going to struggle for a long time because he was perfect for them, and it showed. But again, I get it. Rangers obviously are a much bigger club than Hearts. They want a very exciting type of manager. They want a very different type of manager. But I still think, why would you never give Derek McInnes a chance? He understands the football club, and he's not a bad option. And yet, again, Rangers have overlooked him stupidly. Hearts have got him. Hearts are going to be in the top three next season comfortably. Like, not even a debate. Hearts are going to be. They're going to spend in the summer. They've got a new chairman as well, which is good. Both again smart by Livingston to get money and investment in there. New chairman, they needed it. Hearts have now got like Tony Balloon, which is brilliant, or whatever he's called, the Brighton guy. Good money for them, investment. McInnes is going to get back. The first thing he's going to do, he's going to say, sign Shanklin to a new contract.
yeah,
mm.
And that's another loss for me as well, because Shanklin would have been perfect for Rangers, although Eaglemani's been incredible this season. Like, it's an incredible decision by Hearts. I agree with everybody else, though. The way Hearts have gone about it is shady. Like,
listen, you know me as that Jambo. I couldn't
Yeah,
care less because there's no loyalty in
exactly.
football.
Why should you? But why should you? I mean, obviously, if you're a Kilmarnock fan, it's a little bit shady you've lost your manager in this way. But what looks like is going to happen is Naismith is going to be the
That's all
Kilmarnock
I
manager.
heard.
Apparently,
Yeah,
if he gets the job, it's a decent appointment for them.
it would work. I think the for him when he was at Hearts, I think in the end it got too much big for him. Especially,
Yeah,
yeah, it got too big for him. I think the first season and a half, okay, that's fine. But
aye,
it got to a point it just got stale, and then there was questions about, oh, was he, who's managing in the UP Cup? Because he didn't have a badge. And then we had the issue with Frank McBoy becoming the manager, head coach. I'm like, what
Yeah,
is going on?
that's the thing I was going to just interject there, Carl, was the double manager thing. I think that was what really cost him
Yeah,
his job at Hearts, because we weren't sure who was like managing. Was it Stephen Naismith? Obviously, I know he's doing his badges at the time, but obviously you had Frankie, McAvoy. So I think this double manager thing didn't really help him. So I think now the fact that he's got his badges, again, it's another manager situation where you'd be like, he knows the club inside out. Does Stephen Naismith? He had a very good time at Rangers and Kilmarnock. So I fully expect him to, if it is going to be him, then I fully expect him to do a good job at Kilmarnock.
yeah, so do I as well. And do you know what? I know with Brian Mackay and Charles Grant, they have now confirmed they will be leaving the club after tomorrow as well. So it means that the squad needs to reinvest. And I think we know one of the lone players. I think it's Elton Kabangu. He looked like he's going to be there permanently. I think that he's one of Tony Bloom's analytic signings. So I think he'll be there. He'll be there. He'll be staying permanent because I think him and Shanklin do have a good partnership. I think I think we're going to play 4-3-3. That means we're going to have to who's going to be playing in the middle because I think Shanklin is more better in the middle than he was in the back two, the behind the front two in the previous game on the pitch.
Predominantly, I'm expecting you to play a 4-3-3, but I don't think he's will most of the time. I think he'll still play
Mm.
some form of front two partnership.
Yeah,
I think,
so do I.
but I don't think that'll be in every game. I think he'll only play front two against maybe a Celtic or a Rangers, maybe a Hibs, even though it's
Yeah,
a game where you should be more in the front foot. I think he'll still play the front two just to get an extra body in the midfield. But I think at that point you'll then go any other game, you'll put an extra man in the attack, and you'll do well.
yeah, no, I agree. I do agree as well. I think we'll see. I think with the investment comes in, it will be. I think then because will be improved once Anne Budge comes back from her holiday, which is kind of what's the little sticking point at the moment. But hopefully, with the consultation with I think by the end of next week it should get voted through, and that confirmation of Tony will get its shares of 29%. So it is look as
It's a
exciting.
good deal.
Cats do need to challenge the big two. To quite honest with you, I really do.
Can I just ask a question? How's Michael's voice after the other night there?
Well, sorry, I had to jump off very quickly. It was because there was someone came with a parcel, so it always so of course they typically do it when I'm on a stream live, so that's why I had to jump off. How's my voice? Well, you can probably tell my voice is quite stuffy, although I did develop a cold during the night. But tell you what, but my voice has been quite croaky for over the last few days, as you can very well imagine, Doug. So, yeah, we were talking about it briefly before you came on earlier, like the absolute limbs and the absolute scenes were just something I am never, ever, ever going to forget. And I'm just hoping that means more next weekend. But we'll deal with the final when you come to it. But yeah, wow. Like I've never ever experienced the stadium of light like never ever have, and probably never will again, to be honest. But so but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
it was
actually,
absolutely incredible.
yeah, I'm actually on Merseyside when that final's on, so I'm actually going to try and find like a pub in Liverpool and actually watch it. So, because I don't know if I've told any of you this, but my uncle's a big diehard Sunderland fan. So for his sins, he was born and bred in Sunderland. So, I'll be cheering for the Mackems on next Saturday.
Yeah, I
I've
really,
been,
really, really hope we do it because I really hope we do it because I personally can't stand Chris Wilder. So, like, I don't really like him at all. But, like, at the same time, I've always got that innate pessimism going, but I also can't have nice things. So, naturally, we're probably not going to win. But, we'll
I
see.
just have a championship philosophy, and it's very simple. It's prevent the stripper clubs from getting promoted.
Yeah. Listen, Reece, we'll become one of the stripper clubs at Leeds fan. We'll become one of the stripper clubs in the long,
I bet. I won't call you a stripper club just purely because you're already you're a club rival. That would be embarrassing to have a rival as a stripper as a rival. That'd be awful.
I think it's quite disrespectful to call Leeds a stripper club when they've been in the Premier League more often than like the Norwiches, the Sheffield Uniteds, etc.
Exactly.
So, no, I think
they're a different
Leeds
level size club compared to them, aren't they?
Leeds have already had
absolutely.
Leeds have already had their pride stripped anyway. They appointed Daniel Farke as a manager, and I'm still waiting to see if he gets farked off.
Listen,
Here
we go. Can of worms open here.
I'm just trusting until October. That's all I'm doing at this moment. Until October. I know, Reece. I know. Trust me. We'll do that.
I don't like him. I've never liked him, so I'll always consistently stand on that.
I'm going to put this way: if we do get rid of him, I think I already know who's going to be the replacement, and it'll be Ange.
You know what's funny? I actually think you're right.
I think it could be as well.
But that depends on that depends on who gets sacked Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to Carl, the position Ange has got Tottenham in this season, I'm sure he'd snap his hand off for that next season.
The funny thing is,
it's just who we are, mate.
You put him in that.
Who we are, mate.
You put him in that. You put him in that Leeds hot seat. I always win something in my second season. So what are you going to win at Leeds then?
I actually want the EFL trophy.
He would be a good appointment for Spurs. The annoying thing is, I don't want him to win a trophy at Man United's expense, but I would actually like to see Ange win a trophy because I just like how honest he is. Like, he's the stark contrast of most managers in the Premier League. I really do like Ange Postecoglou, but I want him to fail Wednesday. But like, he's a really open, honest manager, and his style of football is good. It's just, I don't know why it doesn't work for Tottenham. Like, it actually has the squad for it. I don't know if Tottenham just haven't got the mindset to play football. But I did say it at Celtic when he was managing Celtic, like, his style of play is so good for attacking teams, but defensively, he never seemed to learn, which is weird. Right? If he knew how to get his teams to defend, he'd have one of the best teams in the league by a mile.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Guys, I think I'm gonna have to pop off because
you got a little boy who wants your attention.
Yeah, I'm quite.
Dad duty's not good enough.
He wants to go the swings.
Nah, to be fair, I was probably expecting to be on for 10-15 minutes. So to do 20 minutes, I'm pretty happy with that.
Mm-hmm. It is good seeing you.
Yeah, Doug, have a good weekend with the dad duties. We catch you probably next weekend because it is the last Saturday show of the season before going up to Sunday's game. So,
well, if I can get Wi-Fi or anything on the train,
replay, that's good. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll be on. Hang on. So what? 11:15 or 11:30 next week.
Yeah.
I should be on a train actually heading towards Liverpool, so I should be on the Northern line, so hopefully be able to get Wi-Fi, but we'll see. But anyway, have a good show, and I'll see you later.
Take care, guys.
Take care, Doug.
Take care, Doug. Sorry. Have a good weekend. Yeah, so thanks for that, Doug. So, yeah, thanks for that. Listen, I'm going back on what we talked about as well, and we are going to talk about Man United in the Europa Conference League final because that needs been discussed as well. But like I said, Michael, head of the game, Sheffield United and yourselves, how big it really is, because Chris Wilder somehow they beat Bristol City comfortably well, and yeah, it just like Wilder is just taking those shits at the moment because he wants to get back up. He thinks he still thinks, man, we were the better team than ourselves and Burnley. But
yeah, I mean, well, as you know, all season I've been saying, I think out of the three of you, I think they're comfortably the weakest of the three. Doesn't mean that they're crap though, because they're obviously not. Cheers to Niall and Michael, by the way, for the comments in there. Fingers crossed will win it. And I'll quickly answer the question. I will be doing a video. Obviously, my mood will be heavily dependent on what happens between 3 and 5, or potentially 3 and 6 o'clock next Saturday. But I have got the hotels booked. We've got the trains booked. Got the match tickets booked. So we're all sorted for a trip down the capital for a weekend. So that's going to be quite nice. Hopefully, it's even better because we'll win. But as for next Saturday, look, I mean, what is it? It's described in club football as the richest game in the world, isn't it? Because obviously the winner has everything to gain in terms of finances, just alone from going up to the Premier League. So, if you're looking at it from a squad perspective, on paper, you could argue Sheffield United Parachute Payment Club should be winning the game. But at the same time, oh god, my voice is done.
There's David Martin. That's the David Martindale voice.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Right there.
Time to play,
didn't I? But yeah,
time to play the game with my lost voice.
Yes, I tried to play the game and sound like Batman while doing it. Honestly, yeah, just whenever there's a build up in your throat. But for me, yeah, Sheffield United on paper should win. But for me, I've said that if anyone's got a chance of beating them out of the bottom 21 teams at Wembley, then I think it is us. I don't think we're a bad side, and I think, look, obviously the Coventry games, they were very, very tense. They were very, very close. But like, I think the idea, because obviously Coventry played probably arguably the better football across the two games, but I would say for a lot of it, we defended well and kept them out. But we're going to have to defend just as well as that next weekend. I think in the second leg, we probably got fortunate to some degree that Coventry couldn't finish their chances because they missed some big opportunities to score. So if we're going to be like that next weekend, then we won't win the game. But I think, look, next Saturday is massive. Of course it's massive. As Carl knows, in the build-up to the second leg, because we won the first leg, I was feeling ill with anxiety with the because I thought, because my gut feeling always was, if we got past Coventry, we'll win it. Don't know why. I might be wrong on that. I've been wrong before. But I've got a gut feeling. I've got a gut feeling as long as Lady Luck doesn't suck Chris Wilder and Sheffield United off like they have done for a lot of the season, then I think we should have a good chance of winning.
Yeah, no,
that's the stripper effect.
Absolutely, yeah, quite literally. Hey, couldn't have been a more appropriate phrase than that.
Absolutely, indeed. Listen, like I said, it's going to be exciting games next Saturday with the Championship playoff final between.
Carl's just happy Leeds aren't involved in it.
Yeah, I am. That was the best thing after last season. Yeah. I didn't want to go through another torture again.
I think it's crazy that the winner of the playoff final makes more money than the winner of the league itself. Yeah. I still always found that bizarre.
It's mental, isn't it? Really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
I understand when the playoff is important, but I'm sorry, but the playoff winner hasn't won anything more important than the league winner itself.
Yeah,
and that's like that. So it's bizarre. Obviously, it's good for your team to win because you get promoted, but you should be getting more money than the team that actually wins the league itself. It is wild that they actually still do it like this. I'll never understand this. It's mental.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next Saturday evening I won't be complaining about that. But
no, of course not.
But you're right. Yeah, I mean Leeds and Burnley have been the two best teams by some way of the division. So like Leeds have been the best side for me. Burnley have been the best defensive side. So they in turn should get more money than either of one of our also Sheffield United or ourselves who win the playoffs. Yeah, I agree with Reece there. I think it's kind of like your reward. You almost got a bigger incentive to not go up automatically and just win the playoffs, which, as the cliche goes, playoffs are a lottery. So, but at the same time, although Sheffield United beat Bristol City, what was it, 6-0 on aggregate, I think that tie was realistically done from the half time in the first leg. Once Rob Dickey got sent off, and then obviously Harrison Burrows scored the penalty. From that point, it was always going to be a tough ask for Bristol City to progress through to the final. And if you ask Andy, he'd probably say the same thing, Bristol City fans. So, whereas with us, I think we had a quite some way tougher, actually, semi-final than what Sheffield United did. I think if Sheffield United played Coventry over 2 legs, I'd back them to have won, but it wouldn't have been anywhere near 6-0. So I think it would have. They're not a bad side, Coventry. They're a really difficult team to play against. And obviously, with our record against them, they seem to turn into Real Madrid whenever they play Sunderland. So thankfully that wasn't the case in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm excited for next Saturday. But my nerves will probably kick in at the start of next week.
Yeah, no, it will do as well. And do you know
If
what?
you don't have nerves for any big game, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fair point. Yeah, I'm just gonna think as well, Michael, because of with everything that you all got to play for. Listen, how many fans are you taking? Are you taking probably what, nearly 40,000, nearly 36,000?
Well, I think both of us only got a 35,000 allocation, which is something I don't really agree with because I'm like, I understand there's corporations and Club Wembley and stuff, but surely the main bulk of the people attending that day should be fans of the two clubs involved. I understand maybe like, what was it, 90,000 seat a stadium? So like, if you save 10k for like corporations, Club Wembley, officials, like really, really high ranking people, then I understand that. But you should get around 40k for each of the two clubs, but in my opinion. But yeah, we've pretty much, I think we've nearly.
Or even 38.5,
Yeah,
37
exactly.
or 37.5, which is fine. That's still high value, but I agree. I don't get that as well. Because let's be real, even if you're saving 10k over, they're not going to fill those seats.
Well, I
No.
was going to say, weirdly, you say that because Sheffield United apparently haven't sold out their allocation yet.
They've
And
always had a problem. So I remember back in 2012, 2013, I think it was when Sheffield United lost those title in the playoff. Sheffield United took a lot of their fans, and I remember that quite well.
yeah,
Huddersfield didn't, because there was still loads of space in the Huddersfield end, which I was in because I got a free ticket. I was like, bloody hell, I thought this, because it was, it was the opposite like what it was the season before with Peterborough that dictated a lot of the fans and Huddersfield lost. So I was like, okay then. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised that Sheffield United have not outsold the allocation.
yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that we've sold out probably, or at least we've sold more tickets because we've got a bigger fan base. And to be fair to Sheffield United, we are a one club city, whereas they've got
Two
themselves a
clubs.
Sheffield Wednesday, have they?
Yeah.
So it's obviously going to be a bit harder to sort of sell out their allocation. And I do think they'll come close to it, but like, yeah, I mean, I think we've ended up we've got around about 35,000, I think, going down. To be fair, before I address Michael's point, I think we were. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah, there was a problem with our because we have a contract at the minute with Ticketmaster.
Oh god.
Thankfully, it ends at the end of this season, and next season we're going somewhere different because basically the way the phases worked was that it was meant to be season ticket holders for this season that were able to get tickets as first and foremost for the playoff final. Unfortunately, there was a glitch in the system which meant that some people who were non-season ticket holders were able to buy tickets. That they've since apparently been cancelled and refunded, but like, so I think that's mainly the only reason why we haven't sold out yet. But no, like I said, I think you know what our fans are like. I mean, and to be fair, and I've got to give the Geordies credit for this. They're exactly the same. Like both sets of fans will go down, take over the Trafalgar Square, Covent Garden, take over landmarks of London. A lot of us will be going down in our droves. And the last time I went to a playoff final was when we beat Wickham in League One 3 years ago, and I went there and back on the day, which was good. But I'm much happier that I'm staying for like the weekend. I think the Saturday night, especially if we win, will be really, really good. To answer Michael's question, do you think Sunderland will adopt the same tax in the playoff? I don't know. That's an interesting one because I think my gut says probably. Which means if we are going to do that, we're going to have to defend pretty much impeccably all game. I do think the one thing that gives us hope is that Sheffield United aren't very quick at the back, and I think we've got the players to cause them quite a few problems. The
And
issue at the other
saw
end,
that on New Year's Day, didn't it? Because
yeah, well, Jack Robinson is an example who made the mistake when Eliza Mayenda scored. The game Carl was at. Yeah, he would have witnessed that firsthand. And then Wilson Isidore and Mayenda tore them apart that night. So hopefully they do the same again next weekend and we win. But yeah, I think Sheffield United, obviously, you've got Gustavo Hamer, you've got Callum O'Hare, you've got Raksaki, you've got Harrison Burrows, you've got Vinny Souza, Peck. We've Ben Brereton, Diaz. They've got some good players going forward that can definitely cause us problems. But I think we have enough to cause them problems. And for me, a big part of how we do will be: are we going to put Romain Mundle on the left and put Enzo Lefebvre in the centre? Because I'm someone who's personally been a bit disappointed with Lefebvre since he's come in for the level of hype that came with him. But I
yeah,
must admit, he's got something like he's had a hand in all three goals we scored in the playoffs. So you know what? Shut us up, mate. Fair enough. And that's what we want to be seeing. So I think if Enzo Lefebvre plays in the middle and we've got Mundle on the left and it's got an abundance of pace, and particularly if say Mayenda starts up front, athleticism, pace, then I'd fancy us to get a couple of goals against them if we're on it.
yeah, no, as well. I'll say as well. Do you know what? We'll move on away because since we've got Reece here, We got to talk about the Europa League final,
Absolutely.
and I was supposed to get Harry from Sky's Spurs' Sky's talk today. But he's been busy because he's got his exams coming up. So Harry, good luck to you and your
He's a good
exam.
lad, Harry. He's a good
He's
lad.
a good lad. We'll get him on probably at the end of the season as well. But Reece, it's a big final, and surprising because you lost to Chelsea. Not surprised you lost to Chelsea 1-0, but you played your full squad. You played your full strength squad. Was that not the right? Was that the worst decision to me to do that before Wednesday night?
I don't know why he played full strength. Obviously, you want to be in the best position. Obviously I did watch the highlights, but I didn't watch the game. I saw the team before we played, and Spurs did the right thing in terms of the game compared to United. Like Spurs knew they've got nothing to play for in the league, so they're like, we're just gonna rest players as best we can and just relax. Whereas we've went, well, here we go. We're going to play full strength to try and get some with Chelsea. And I'm like, why? It was definitely the wrong call for me. Definitely the wrong call.
Yeah, definitely wrong call. So, how you feeling for Wednesday night? Are you confident you can do the job, or is it going to be a close game between yourselves and Spurs?
I think it's going to be really close, but like I said there, but like if you've got no nerves, then there's something wrong about this big game. Like for any big game, I am a little bit nervous because you just never know. Like we haven't beaten Tottenham since 2022, which is crazy. Like we haven't beaten them in 3 years. I am a little bit wary of what's going to happen. I think we should still be favourites based on our recent record in finals, but that doesn't automatically mean you're going to win. I think it's going to be really close. If we win, great, we get Champions League football. Hopefully, we can actually improve our squad. If we lose, then we've got to really hang heads even more shame than where we already are. But it's crazy where we're at, and I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I am really nervous for the final. I'm really nervous.
Yeah, well, do you know what? As I said, I wouldn't be surprised, like how you just said it. You're nervous, and as I said, a lot of money's at stake, Reece, as well. Especially if you win it, it guarantees a lot of money for you guys to try the windfall for you guys to get the Champions League. If you don't, then what more can you gonna do?
I know. I honestly don't know. It's This team definitely doesn't deserve European football. I'll say that. Like I'll stand on that. Like we don't deserve it. Even if we win the Europa League, we've won the trophy unbeaten, but we don't necessarily deserve to be in the Champions League just because our season's been horrific. But we need to really start focusing on improving the team and actually a team that can be able to challenge on all fronts again, because that's not happened in a long time. Managing multiple fronts, being able to compete. It's been a long time where it's been generally a good competitive side. Something's got to happen. Something's got to be changed. And if we can do that, fantastic. If we don't, then more misery. More misery, I suppose.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I'm not gonna get. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna get ask prediction because I know you're nervous. But do you want Man United to win overall?
Yeah, I really want us to win. End of the day, like there's so much at stake. There's so much at stake. Also, to be the team where you lost to Tottenham would be embarrassing as well. Especially for their recent record of not winning anything in so long, it would be incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, how we look on the bright side, at least Tottenham fans can mock at. We can all can mock Arsenal fans. Oh, oh yeah, your rivals won the trophy. Did you?
Pretty much in the same way, it'd be painful, eh?
Yeah. It will be more painful for you more than the Arsenal fans, mate. Trust me.
Yeah,
I know. I think that would be more. I'd be more if, like I said, me. It's look. I don't care which team wins. They're probably the two worst teams in the Europa League final history. When Bilbao, no disrespect, Reece, Bilbao was really fight to get to play it at home in
they
the
were.
ground, and yeah,
They were, and you can see it, and they just they couldn't do it. It's crazy as well that we've beaten another Spanish team when we generally have bad records against Spanish sides as well. Our record against Spanish teams is notoriously horrific, and we beat another team en route to a final. And last time we did beat a Spanish team en route to the final, we should have won, but we failed. But before that, we did win. So like we do have a mad record of that. So it's going to be interesting. I'm eager to see how we get on, but I'm I'd say I'm about 65% confident.
Mm, mm.
I don't think I'll get any higher. I don't know if I'll get any higher than that.
No, fair enough. And let's go on to your other club, Rangers. Where's the manager situation at this moment? And we know that David Ancelotti has been linked with Steve Gerrard has been linked to go back as well. Are they even close to getting the right man? Because Barry Ferguson, I don't think he's up for it. I can't see the ownership taking him on.
Yeah. I don't think he's. I think he's done relatively okay to try and prove like who actually can and can't cope with the expectation of playing at the club, but he hasn't also been able to continuously fulfill the expectation of managing. So I think realistically, he isn't the best choice to stick with.
Yeah, no, yeah, I just don't agree. Listen, I know he's trying to bring himself in the press conference. I can still be things, but realistically, I don't think there's a good chance at all as well for Rangers, particularly as well. So if you're going to be challenging Celtic next season with the investment of cash that you're going to get as well, so it's going to be it's going to be huge summer for Rangers, for the Ibrox faithful and for yourselves as well. So yeah, a huge one as well. I've just got some breaking news not too long coming out. Dean Howson has joined Real Madrid after the Spanish have activated his £50 million release clause. I think that's a good deal actually, and
Yeah.
for someone how you Juventus let him go for that kind of money for £13 million, 15, and then look at Bournemouth, they've got a good profit. How have Bournemouth done so quite well of becoming the selling club and buying good players and then selling for a good profit?
No idea. No idea. I mean, they've done really well to land a player like him in that circumstance and to then sell him for such a good profit. But and Madrid are getting a good player, but I don't know if he's. I don't think he's a bad player at all. I think he's a good player. I just think it's a mistake. Like at this moment in time, I think it's too soon to go to Real Madrid. It's so soon for him. He's still very young.
Only 20, yeah.
Yeah, I think he should have waited maybe a couple of years, or even like Madrid sign him and then they loan him back to Bournemouth. It'd be I don't know, but I think it's a
I, I can understand what you're saying. I just think because the defense has been the back four for Rangers has been struggling, and it has been struggling for quite especially his aging squad with that Alaba's not been playing as much, with his injuries.
yeah.
There has been question, especially are they going to go into a back three now because if Xavi Alonso goes.
I think so.
Was he the place that they needed? Because I just look at this at the moment it's going to be interesting if coming in and then trying to challenge Barcelona next season for La Liga is going to be the toughest part. So he's going from a team that was challenging Europe to a big team that expected to win trophies. So
Yeah,
it's quite huge.
it's a huge step up, and I hope he does well for Madrid. I just think it's so soon, but if it's in a back three, at least he'll have good good players around him that are a little more experienced, where they can nurture him better to the top level.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Because like I said, I'm just looking at the defense back four. I just see because Danny Carvajal is he going to go this summer? Because with Trent coming in, that's a possibility. It's so much for that Madrid team that especially that defense. Especially it needed investment. But as I said, after what's going on with Rudiger's behavior, because Rudiger's not getting younger as well. So, I think, I think that investment was coming sooner than later. To quite honest with you.
Yeah, it's definitely coming to an end. Yeah.
Yeah, it is as well. Do you know what? Thinking about this as well, especially we're going to talk about Jimmy Vardy briefly before we finish the show. It, like you said, Reece, it was very surprising with the statement that came out from him and Leicester that he was only going to play his last game tomorrow. Is that really a bit of arrogance from the Leicester board and him, and especially when the Leicester fans said Leicester fans can't bring their own tifo into the game? Wow, they said, "Oh, we're gonna do it." The board said, "We're gonna do our own tifo." That just shows so much disconnect from. Well, we've seen it for a while, but this has gone to the lows and lows.
Yeah, it is certainly a strange thing. Like, I understand the statement, and I think it is controversial. I think the fact that he wants to do it against Ipswich is so weird. I think, quite frankly, you should be doing it against both games instead of like just saving it for one, because there's no guarantee that he's going to score against Ipswich either.
No,
And he seems to be riding on this confidence where it's no guarantee. I think he should play both games. I think it's a shame for Leicester fans in that circumstance. I certainly understand the words behind what he said, but I think he should be playing both. But I understand his idea to not do it.
yeah, no, Michael. If I was here, I don't know what I would say because especially Ipswich could come and ruin the final surprise, the final act of Jimmy Vardy's game tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean they very well could. I think it just goes to prove that you were talking earlier about the discontent, and it almost kind of feels like Leicester have almost certainly ruined whatever harmonious feelings there were towards the board, towards the club after winning the league 12 months ago in the Championship, and then now all of a sudden, and to be fair, it's quite sad circumstances in some senses for Jamie Vardy that this is kind of the way his career is ending at Leicester. It's not particularly. It's obviously never going to be a glamorous exit. They've just got relegated, haven't they? But like, you know what I mean? It's this is meant to be a day sort of celebrating what he's done, to what he's done for Leicester. But yeah, if Ant was here, I would be very interested to see how much of a rant he'd probably be going on at the minute, because I don't doubt he probably would be going off on one. That's for sure.
No, yeah, I agree as well. And I was speaking to Chris and Wayne on the prediction show on LITD on the prediction show on Thursday night, and they said the same thing. It was so bizarre and everything, especially because Chris got some good connections with some of the reporters, and they was a bit surprised how that statement was not shot down. It was like, yeah, this could happen. Even the club never confirmed it, but it was like, okay, what is where is this going? Where is this going? Especially you're going to be back down in the Champions League season. You might not even be having Rude as your manager. The question is, where does this Leicester team go now? Because I just can't see them being back up next season. I really don't. I really don't at this particular moment. You know that squad's gonna be decent. It's gonna be a lot of players will be leaving that Leicester squad in the summer. I can just see it happening. It's gonna be a huge rebuild, despite with the financial fair play situation they got to deal with in the EFL, because the EFL are now looking at rules now and thinking we can just charge them what we want now and make or ban them from signing players.
Wasn't there a possibility for points deduction for Leicester as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to make it that's going to make it a lot harder, really, in that sense. I think ultimately for me, I'd imagine that Ruud van Nistelrooy probably won't be Leicester boss next season. But if he isn't going to be, then who do you appoint? My personal option, if I was Leicester, would be Danny Roll. I think that'd be
It's gonna be a battle between him and Southampton.
It looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be I think that'd be a really good appointment for whoever ends up getting him, because it looks certain that he's going to leave Sheffield Wednesday. But things with Leicester, there's going to be expectation on them next season, and it's totally fair enough to do it. And it's a question of how many of that squad will they A, want to keep, or B, will be able to keep. So, and even if you sell a couple of players, you're going to have parachute payments, and clubs are going to try and take advantage of the fact that you're going to have parachute payments. So, yeah, it's not a harmonious situation at Leicester at the minute. And I say this a lot, but for them, it really is a huge summer for them in terms of what they're going to want to do going forward. Just quickly, Carl, I'm going to have to shoot off, all right?
Yeah, no, that's why. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for joining us. I will put
No,
your
thank you very much.
channel in the description. And listen, have a good weekend good Saturday next weekend as well. We'll hopefully we'll get back into the season.
Yeah, I'm just
On
going to keep
better
everything.
circumstances.
Yeah, I'm keeping everything crossed that we do, but and we'll stop stripper clubs going up, as Reece says. That'll be yeah, I have a habit of making people laugh when they're drinking, so yeah, I shall love yous and leave yous. But yeah, fingers
Cheers,
crossed we'll win this
Michael.
again.
Take
Take care, you
care.
two.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a huge game as well. But as I said, Reece, especially with the Leicester situation, we just don't, like you said, they've got another use summer, and especially Southampton as well too, because they need to look at thinking what is the squad needs over their other team needs an overhaul as well. So as I said, I think the best team that's suited at the moment is Ipswich Town because if Kieran Kane stays.
I think you're right. The only thing for them though is definitely don't repeat mistakes. I think they'll recognise that they made a mistake with Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, and listen, and me loving Calvin, I felt sorry for him, and I think they realised that was a big mistake taking him on loan. And I did say this. I said it was a big
He's a good
mistake.
player. He's a good
Yeah,
player. If they make big money selling Delap, invest that smartly in the squad, they should be fine.
yeah,
I think they'll come straight back up.
I think so as well too. I think they will come straight back up as well. I'm not gonna lie as well. I think I would be one of the players that you have to look at. Omari Hutchinson could be going away as well too.
Yeah, he's another one. They have some decent players in their squad. They just need to determine what they're going to do. Leicester, I think Danny Rowe. I agree. I think it's between him and Southampton. Leicester and Southampton to get Danny Rowe. I also think Jose Cifuentes is right there. So who
Yeah,
knows if anyone goes for him? So there's there certainly is a managerial power struggle for those two next summer. I'm not sure if either club comes straight back up though. I think Ipswich will, but um, I don't know. I think it'll be really close for who does and who doesn't. One club who I don't think is definitely coming up next season. I absolutely do not think it's the loser of the playoff final. The loser of the playoff final, I don't think is coming up. Whoever loses this,
yeah, no, yeah. It's not. I agree with you wholeheartedly there with that one. They will lose the place. I'm not going to come up. It's a team like Sheffield United. I said, look at Sunderland. They raised expectations, which we did expect. They overachieved, and then we thought what they were going to do. So yeah, as I said, especially if Reagan Job does go, they're going to have to invest quite wise, which they do. But is it a team that could be consistent? So yeah, it's a bit of a concern. It's a bit of an interesting bubble how it's going to go as well. Completely. You're right. Your top 5 predictions at the moment before we finish off. Who's going to get the last spot?
in the is this in the Champions League race? Sorry,
Yeah,
I think it's going to finish in league order. I think it's going to finish annoyingly Liverpool as champions, obviously.
yeah.
Man City second, Chelsea third, Arsenal fourth.
Ooh,
Yeah. I want Villa to get ahead of them. I really do. I want Villa to get in there because I really think they've done excellent. But I think Arsenal will still be in the top 4. But Arsenal, the way they've played the last couple of months, don't deserve to be in the top 2.
yeah, yeah. I just think Newcastle could just get the last spot. If they beat us, though, they already guaranteed it completely. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, absolutely. I actually think, weirdly enough, I think Newcastle, because they want Victor Boniface from Leverkusen, which would be an incredible move for them.
oh yeah,
I, if they get a right winger, they get another centre back, and maybe a new right back.
yeah.
They make those 4 signings next summer. Boniface, a right winger, a new right back, and another centre back. I actually think within the next 2 seasons they win the league.
I
And
do as well.
I don't want that to happen because
But you know
I
it
don't like
could.
the smugness. I don't like the smugness of their fans, but I think it's certainly possible. You'd be lying to yourself if you don't think it. You'd be lying to yourself.
Yeah, you do. You would. You definitely would lie to yourself if you don't think it. And you're right, completely. I as well. I have a weird feeling that Chelsea still misses out for some obvious reasons with Man City win against Bournemouth. But I said at the moment, I just don't, like I said, I don't see Arsenal. I don't see Arsenal finishing second. I really don't, and it doesn't. It amazes me completely with that how they were supposed to be the team was supposed to win the Premier League this season, especially with Liverpool, their first, and Slot coming in as the new manager. They don't expect to have that bounce to build that bounce to do so well. But as I said, at the moment, with Chelsea winning, which I did not want them to win actually, but because I'd rather have Aston Villa over Chelsea because Villa's has got the. But I know with Villa's situation at the moment because Emi Martinez might not be there this summer. So as I said, I just think it's going to be Man City finishes second alongside, I'm going to say Newcastle third and then Arsenal fourth and Villa because I think I think Chelsea are going to have a tough game against Nottingham Forest. I think they will do.
It's certainly possible. I think the crazy thing is some of the signings they've made, Villa, like this season. Like I'm a big fan of Morgan Rogers, great promotion from last season.
Yeah.
Jacob Ramsey, I really like. He's maintained his form. Bringing in Asensio on loan in January was incredible. If they don't get him permanently, they'll be gutted because he's been phenomenal for them. Rashford, circumstance obviously hasn't worked him for Man United this season. He's obviously went to Villa. He's been okay. I actually wonder if we don't win the Europa League final, if Amorim stays, does the club actually tempt themselves and try and get Emery from Villa? I don't know. I mean, I would have preferred Hansi Flick, but I actually think Unai Emery's. I think United have to do some, but
yeah, no, that would be interesting if that happens because
Amorim needs backed
yeah,
massively in
he
the
does.
summer. But
He does.
I actually have a crazy statement as well. I think Chelsea will still get Champions League, but I think definitely it runs high with Newcastle with them. But like it's so crazy like how tight it's going to be to the end of the season.
I think
I've
Newcastle will
seen a
fight. I think Newcastle will beat Arsenal because they've dominated. They've dominated against Arsenal this season,
oh
especially
they have.
and especially how they did kill them off in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup.
I've just seen a crazy statement as well. This is actually I think I at one point I thought he had a lot of potential, but he's not going to deliver. I think he might need to leave either permanently on a loan. But Samuel Luckhurst has literally just said senior figures at Manchester United are not having Rasmus Højlund. One well-placed source suggested he does not work hard enough.
Wow.
So there's a hint that he might be going.
Yeah, that is a big hint. That is a big hint with that one. Yeah, that is amazing. That's just come out like
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was one question. So that was like so I think it's going to be. I think Chelsea will get the last spot. I think I don't know if Newcastle. It's Chelsea. It's Chelsea or Newcastle. I think Villa might just miss out. But to be fair, fifth place gets the European League, so
Yeah,
it's
they get
weird.
Champions League.
So actually, so I said top four. Sorry, I was bad for that. I think Newcastle top five then to round it off, and then Villa sixth. Oh, Wimbledon have scored.
Yeah, they have. Michael just has just messaged in actually. They're the latest 1-0. So
Wow.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, we'll see what happens this weekend, and then next weekend is going to be interesting.
Rangers have just scored.
Wow.
I mean, they're flying anyway. If you think about it, like not really, but they're not flying really. Carl Dessers after 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think Dess is coming in at the right time of everything, So
He's horrible. It's crazy as well when you look at the entire league phase. Celtic's goal scores 111, and they've only conceded 25.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. The Rangers women, on the other hand, have got a goal difference of 116.
I know. I'm a friend Izzy, she's a big Hibs fan because we worked together for the Liverpool tennis union. And she said, "Carl, your team your jumpers didn't do any favors." Of course, we're not doing no favors to you, lot. You know why?
Rangers women do not know the word stop. Like
No.
they work so damn hard. Like they're an incredible team. The Celtic women's team is really good. I think the Hearts team's okay. I think they're trying to find their way, but they're getting their Glasgow City. We know are still like they're still the undisputed queens of the women's league. But I think
yeah.
I think it's clearly coming now that Rangers are constantly putting up these goal scoring numbers a season, like that title is going to get passed on. But
it will. Listen, I'm expecting a lot of WhatsApp messages tomorrow from Izzy and saying we're the champions, or the other way around, or me being smug. I said, you see, so
the bad thing is, it's only right now the league's only being decided on
goal difference.
Yeah, but Rangers are second, which is weird.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
it's the same points, but Hibs are ahead because of I think it must be goal. It can't be goals for because Rangers have scored the most in the
No,
league.
it's more to the head-to-head record. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, aye, they've got the better results, don't they? So
Yeah,
Rangers have to win.
yeah. Rangers have to win tomorrow.
Will they though? That's a big debate. I mean, like
I'll be watching the game tomorrow.
I'm gonna watch for a friend of mine's a Hibs fan, and I'll be watching just to remind her if her team wins or if her team gets beat. But it's been quite an interesting season. They're getting there.
Yeah. Oh,
It's we've been doing it for. I can answer that question very easily. We've been doing this for years.
for years now.
We were actually, I think, if memory serves me right, the SPFL was the first professional league to do the split and decide this way. Then it was Norway, then it was Belgium. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's that order. We were the first, and we really were stupid with it. I don't like the split. I don't like that our league is 12 teams. It needs to go up to 16 and just promote 4 teams. Just have a mini playoff. Like I said last time I was on here, have a mini playoff between teams in the championship that are not in the playoffs already, and then the best 4 performing teams they go to this SPFL and just get them up. Like let's get 16 teams, get a better TV deal because Doncaster's a pleb. Oh, Leon Balogun has just been replaced after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good.
No.
But yeah, I hate that. I hate the league split. I've always hated it. I want a 16-team Scottish Premier League side, no split, just 38. Well, actually, it'll come down to 34, or even go up to 18 teams. We've got enough teams to have an 18-team Scottish league, and it would actually be good. It'd be so much better to have an 18-team SPFL. The amount of money that the team can generate in the league, it'd be so much better, more competitive.
Yeah, no, yeah, I do. I want to see that as well too. But because they not want to change it in the moment. Oh, we were focused on the lower leagues. I'm like, what the hell's going on? If you can't get no agreement, then what?
If you focus on the top flight, the lower divisions get better.
Exactly.
I don't know how difficult that is for them.
It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science. It's actually simple. It's so simple, but they make it complicated.
Exactly. It's why I don't like Neil Doncaster.
Listen, I think everyone in the Scottish football hates Neil Doncaster. I love the power that he has.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely as well. Do you know what, Reece? We're gonna finish it off anyway. Thank you for joining us. I know you're joining, give your previews and stuff and your opinions as well. Good to have you on. We'll probably get you on next Saturday as it is going to be the final
Yeah,
regular season
absolutely. I'll be
Saturday
on.
show because it is the last day of the season in the Premier League. So and it's
I'll be there.
yeah. So we'll have you on next weekend. But like I said, tell everyone where you are, and I'll put your description, your channel in the description.
Yeah, so Twitter is just the Steel Chair with a 1 in the chair itself. The Weekly Steel Chair on YouTube because I do wrestling and gaming content, and then you can find me here now and again, which is fun, and the World of Football podcast where I do a football podcast with sometimes Carl when he's on, Nathan, Julio, and sometimes when he's available, Doug. I want to have like a big end to the season stream on our channel,
Yeah,
and
so do
we
we on
can
here as
and we
well.
can
So.
do it. I would like to do a cross-platform, us and the Leaving Horn podcast. We do both together, simultaneous stream, and we keep building you guys up to 100. We keep building our channel as well, so we can get that going because that's a podcast been around for a long time, but it keeps having so many. It's just has so many homes just because it's difficult for everybody to be available at the right time, and that's not no one's fault. It just happens, but
It
we're still
happens. It
growing.
happens. It does. Certainly does. Yeah.
We're on 29 subscribers now. We're hoping to get we're hoping to keep it building and building, but we just talk football and go wild and crazy, and we do it for fun. We don't do it for anything else.
Yeah.
So that's our aim. But we did our championship predictions. I think our last stream. We need to do more. Our last, if I can just get our last live, 10 days ago. We need to get. We were doing it for so long. We need to just get more time on it. It's just how it is. But we've got an end of season quiz I need to prepare as well for everybody. But yeah, we did our championship review, so we're good. Our next one's probably the Premier League review, but we're gonna get more. I'm gonna get live. So let's just get a day sorted, and that's our date every week. Let's just do it.
No, appreciate that, Reece. So thank you very much for that. And Reece will put his link into the channel on screen.
Yeah. Which one does he want? Does he want the football one? Because I can drop that
Given
right
the
now.
football
Yeah.
one, yeah, I would appreciate it. Given the world of football podcast, yeah.
Yeah, of course. 2 seconds. Let me just quickly get that.
He wants both, actually. Yeah, give
You
him
want?
both.
Yeah, you want both? No problem. Let me. I'll get that. 2 seconds. I'll just open, since I've got 3 screens. I'll just open up multiple tabs.
I've got a wide screen. I can open many tabs on here, so yeah.
Absolutely. I've got 3 tabs open, so I'll do that. So let me just quickly get them, and then hopefully it'll let me drop in. So let me see.
Should do.
So there's the web link for the World of Football podcast, and I'm on 326 subscribers now on the steel chair, which I'm really proud of. Like we're killing it. I think last night's stream, I've been getting consistently good numbers recently.
Yeah,
But
I've noticed you've been getting really good numbers. Actually, I kept an eye on it.
it's
The other
just
day.
going well. Yes, it's crazy that it's going so well because I thought maybe it would drop a little bit, but it just seems I think people are just enjoying the content. They're just enjoying the fact that I'm doing it differently and I'm not making it boring.
Yeah,
There you go. That's my main channel there as well. But yeah, Aberdeen have just scored as well.
yeah, they have. Yeah, they're taking the lead as well. So yeah, gets Dundee United. So
Yeah.
so as well. Reece, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for
We'll
having
see
me.
you next week, next Saturday, which will be the
Yes.
final regular season of the Saturday show. And then I'll probably do some specials on not just your channel, Reece, but on here as well, cross platform as well. So, which means I'll have to activate my StreamYard again to try to do, to get, because I've not used it as much, but I'll get all sorted out and booted up. So, yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Like, we can do that we can certainly do that, and then we can do it with the summer as well, massively.
Absolutely as well. Yeah, because I want to get the rest of the guys like Chris from the LITD and a few of us as well, and Michael back on,
Yeah.
Annie and Antis, the
Hell yeah.
usuals. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's do that. Let's go wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Reece, have a good weekend. I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week, buddy.
Cheers. And thank you very much for Reece for joining us. And thank you to Michael, to Mike Green, to Doug, who joined us briefly as well. As I said, please, we are only one subscription away from 90 subscribers. So please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. We want to get to 100 by the end of the season as well. We got, as I said, what Reece said, we got a huge summer of content we will do after the review of the season. We'll have one big cross platform in all of our channels on here on YouTube as well. As I said, what a season it has been, especially if you're going to the games in the Scottish Premiership today at this moment, and also tomorrow as well. And if you're watching the FA Cup final, have a good one. And for the non-football content stuff, everyone have a good night if you're watching Eurovision tonight, or if you like it or not. But like I said, have a good weekend. As I said, I'm going to try recover a bit more with my stuffy nose. But as I said, it's good to see you guys on today. Thank you very much for listening. As I said, I'll see you guys next week probably around about 11:15, 11:30 tomorrow as well. Thank you, Michael. Your leading that support. Yep, appreciate that. That lead salute there. I really appreciate that. But no, everyone have a good weekend, and I'm gonna enjoy the next couple of days in the sunshine as well. But we're back on next Saturday between 11:15 and 11:30 for the final Saturday show this season. But take it for now, and I'll see you, and all have a good weekend. Take it for now. Bye bye.